Hi, you're tuning in to AWANI Review with me, Cynthia Ng. Joining me today is a very special guest. Her name is Suzanne Ling. She's the co-founder of Picha Eat, which is a Kuala Lumpur-based food catering and delivery enterprise, social enterprise that partners with refugees.
Yes.
Tell us about the story, how it all started. I understand you have two other co-founders, Kim and Suzanne. So how did it all come together?
So 6 years ago, myself, Kim and Suzanne, we were in university, and during our free time, we volunteered in a refugee learning center to teach English, music and maths. And after teaching there for 2.5 years, we realized that the community struggle financially because they aren't allowed to work. So we started thinking, how can we help them to be financially more sustainable through creative and innovative business? And we thought, since they can cook and we eat every day, why not we help to be that connecting point to bridge that and create a business out of it. So that's how Picha Eat started, where we connect with chefs from the refugee community who can cook, and we do marketing branding to look out for clients who need great food, and we connect the both together.
So tell us about, since you started 6 years ago, how has it grown over the years?
So 6 years ago, we were teaching for about 3 years, and Picha started about 3.5 years ago. So it's like 6 to 7 years. So how it has grown is it started as a school project, and then it grew into an NGO concept sort of, but we realized that it's really very hard to sustain because you have to constantly look for fundings. So we thought the new way to make an impact is probably through business. So in 2016, we started Picha Eats, which is a business-driven entity that aims to make an impact with every sales that we make. And from there, I think 3 years ago when we first started, one of the major challenge is that people say, will people buy food made by refugees? Because the stereotype is there, the misconception is there. And we told ourselves that it is our responsibility to change people's perception towards the community. Because the reason why people didn't know is because they didn't know. Like there's not much information that they can get from the social media and all that to see how talented and skillful this community actually is. So from there, we did a lot of branding, marketing. We share their story actively. We invite people to dine in their house, and from there we slowly change people's perspective. I think 3 years down the road now, near to 4 years, it's amazing to see how people see us like another food business now. So they will be like PWC, they want to buy food, they order from us. So the whole thought of, oh, refugee food is already gone because
it's just food.
Yes, it's amazing food, great food with a strong story. And I think over the years we have really seen that grow, and we see a lot of huge corporations like Allianz, EY, World Bank, they are buying food because it's great food. So I think that is really how like a sustainable business should be. It shouldn't be just people buying so that they help. It should be a great product that has a strong story to make people feel like, I want to eat this, and it helps and it impacts life anyway, so why not? So that's really how we have seen it grown.
So between you, Kim and Suzanne, all of you had different backgrounds, studied different courses in university, and when it all came together, I'm pretty sure at that point had you imagined actually for this to grow to this such a big social enterprise now?
For me, no. For myself, I did psychology. So my direction has always been very normal, like psychology, masters, and then like become a therapist, and that's it. Personally, I didn't really have like goals to become an entrepreneur or to start my own thing. But I think life works like in a very funny way. So I met Kim and Suzanne while we were all volunteering in the Refugee Learning Center. We all came from different courses. And I think what we had in common is that one common goal to reach out to as many people as we can through our capacity, which is why we grouped together to do fundraising concerts, one after another. And then we decided to sell food together, and then now it has grown into Picha Eats. At the beginning, I think we saw the potential of how it can grow, which is why we decided to run it as a business and really like push it out to see whether it is feasible. And I think along the way, we met a lot of mentors, a lot of people who give us advice to tell us that I think it can work, you should keep going. And all these were very, very helpful to keep us going. And when we are unsure of our direction, there are a lot of people out there as well who guide us and give us suggestions to bring us on track as well. So I think I'm really appreciative to all these people around us.
Why food? I know that you said that it cooked delicious, but
Yes.
how did you see that food as a connecting factor that could work?
At the beginning, we chose food because we were looking at what resources do we have. Like, what can the community do? They can do arts, they can sell food, and we thought food is something that really makes Malaysians like, we love food. I mean, we are so open to food. But art, it might be a bit harder to build that market. And at that time, our thought was really, we need to do it now. Like, we need to help this family get more income so that the kids stay. So when at that time, the thing that we thought could work the most at that point of time was food. And I think food is very amazing because it brings people together. And for example, let's say I'm meeting you for the first time, you might be like not very open to me, but if you see a food at the first time, you might want to try. So we know that food can really connect people, and throughout the past 4 years in Picha, we really saw how people open up through food. So for example, a buffet line, you have food from Syria, Afghanistan and Palestine. So when a person comes, they will ask, oh, what food is this? Why does it look so different? Not the usual mee hoon or nasi lemak. So that is actually a starting point for us to talk. So we say, this is dumpling from Afghanistan. It's made by this chef who came from Afghanistan. Then people ask, oh, why are they here in KL? And the whole conversation starts very naturally just because of the food. And I think people recognize food, so you know which food like belongs to you, and when there is new food, it triggers new conversation. So I think that was what's really great about food.
We've interviewed Kim before on this
Yes.
show, and during that time, I think it was still known as Picha Project,
Yes.
and now it's Picha Eat. So this transition towards Picha Eat, what was the thought behind it? I know at one point you think that, hey, this could be something much bigger.
Yes, I think we knew that this could be something much bigger since like the first year. We decided to keep with the Picha project because the reason why the name came out at the first place is Picha is the son of our first chef. We named it the Picha project because it's like a movement to help rebuild lives of families like Picha's family through this business. But eventually, after running the business for 3 years, we also realized that the name did cause some misunderstanding where people thought that we are just a project that is temporary, and we wanted to let the world know that we are here for business, like we are here for long. We want to stay here as this like business that continue to impact lives. So we thought that the word project might be a bit misleading, and we decided to rebrand it and call ourselves Picha Eats, as like to stand as a food business that rebuilds lives.
So how does the business model work, and how much do you give back to the purpose?
Yeah, so how does the business model work is very simple. So with every meal sold, 50% of the sales go straight to the chef, where they cover ingredient costs and the rest is their profit. So another 50% goes to Picha, where we cover everything else like operation, packaging, manpower, marketing, branding, to keep the business running so that both sides are sustainable. So the reason why we came up with this business model is so that the business can continue to grow by hiring, expanding the group. So we don't have to actively seek for donation to grow it. It can grow through the sales. And the family side, they can also manage their finances. They can learn about sourcing the right ingredients, learn about doing like accounts to manage their own money. And very importantly is also to train them to run a food business so that in the future, let's say they can have their own food business, they have the experience. Or let's say next time when our family get resettled to other countries, they can have that skill set to start like a business on their own. So that is what we are aiming to do.
So are the makings of the meal left to the creativity of the refugees that you work with?
Oh, so the making of the meal, yes. So what we do is every time we will tell them cook like a wide spread of things so that we try, and then we will decide together and discuss together how can we tweak certain things to the liking of Malaysians, because we still need a market fit. So some of the things we think that, oh, this can be sold, this can't be sold, and it's a process of figuring out the menu together. Or sometimes we go online to do research and we look for certain meals and we ask them, do you think you can make this? I think Malaysians will like it. So it's a process of working back and forth together. Some of the families, we also teach them to make local meals because the clients ask for it, some of it. So we do a blend of menu where you have the Palestinian rice with, let's say, curry chicken, and then you have falafel hummus from Syria, and then you have onde onde. So we do a mix of this, but all of this is cooked by them. So it is a mix of creativity from the chef, from the team, and also like feedback from clients.
And how many meals have you served so far? How many refugee families have you impacted?
So far, we have worked with 20 families, and then we have served about near to 150,000 meals now to about 300 over corporations, and also a lot of like private orders like weddings, birthday parties, and so on. So one thing that we are pushing is a lot of times when we either have like meal box delivery or we have buffet catering. But for gatherings for like 8 to 10 people, we don't have much options. So we came out with this like meal sets where, let's say you have a BBQ party, you need some rice, you order from us, and we send like trays of rice to you delivered. It's not in boxes, it's not in buffet, but it's in like party packages. So that is a market that we think has a lot of potential, and right now people do that. So they have like kids gathering, they order a meal from us. They have a BBQ party, they order some sides from us. Or they have friends gathering at their home but they don't want to cook for 10, they order a set from us and they like pour it to their bowl to make it look like they cook it. So that's like different things that we can do, and I think these party packages is really something that we think we can push a lot more further.
I think what I find interesting about Picha is the strong online community that you have built. I think a lot of the marketing and branding travels from via word of mouth. How did you manage to get such a successful online strategy going on?
I think at the first place we went online because we were bootstrapping, so online was free, like social media and all that, it's free at the beginning. I think how we really do that is to tell the why. So I think our why is very strong online, where you see the food and then you see the story, you see the impact, and a lot of our followers online actually journey with us since the beginning. So every time we announce a milestone, they'll be like, yay, because they feel like they have seen us when we first started, and right now you've reached here and you continue to grow. And I think it's really building this whole movement and community of people who cares for things happening around, and knowing that there is a solution out there, and knowing that lives are being rebuilt and they are part of that community. That is something that is very strong about our online community, I would say.
And I think this also kind of illustrates more companies wanting to make an impact, business as a force for good. And I think your social enterprise has worked with many corporate companies. And how did that grow initially? Was it just through word of mouth? And how did you get more and more companies to be involved with your project? And is there a dream company that you would like to work with?
Oh, I think in the beginning it was really thanks to the media. So the media coverage helped us to reach out to a lot more people, and from there word of mouth. And another important point is really in the product. So we really promise to deliver good products and great services, so that when that go out, you will tell other people. So let's say I serve you food that is amazing and we are always on time and the service is good. Even though I don't have a cost behind it, you will still tell other people, oh, you have a catering, get them because they are on time. So I think that is very important in how we build that word of mouth. We also do a lot of like marketing effort and sales effort, like calling, emailing, LinkedIn, and things like that. So it is a collective effort to reach out to the market. I think a lot, we are very open to anything. Like today, for example, we are here at Zafigo X, and I was quite surprised when they got us to be one of the speakers, but because the topic is about traveling right here, right now, which before I met them, I actually never thought that it could be angled that way. But Zafigo X was like, whatever you are doing now, you are actually traveling to Palestine, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, and that is traveling, even though it's not the usual flying out.
Food.
Yes, you travel
Learning
through
about
food.
Your culture.
Yes, so I think like Zafigo X has given us this platform to explore a new angle of storytelling, of experience. So any brands that is open to it, we are open to it. Like we are very flexible because food can be anything. It can be cooking workshop, it can be food demo, it can be like mixing up different food. But I think one of the things that we are recently talking about is if we can have like, you know, food shows, or even on Astro or Netflix or anything, like food shows that highlight how amazing their food and culture is, from Syria, from Palestine, from all these countries where now what we see is usually war footages, news about war. But why can't we highlight the beauty of their country through food, through their culture, through their story. So I think that is really one thing that we would love to work on.
Yeah. Are you planning to reach out to more communities, not just refugees, marginalized?
Yes. Yeah. So this year we have started to reach out to the local community as well. So we've been going to like PPR flats to look for locals who would like to earn extra income and also get out of like poverty cycle through cooking. So we've recently built up like a very simple central kitchen for a local lady to go in and cook there, so that the house, because the house wasn't so we built a kitchen for this lady to go and cook there, and from there we pick up the food and then we sell it. So like ayam masak merah, ayam kicap and things like that. So we are still actively looking for more people locally who wants to be part of this, and we are going through like different NGO and to reach out to more communities. So yes, we are open.
How do you ensure the quality of food remains of high standards? Because at the end of it, it's a food business, right?
Yes, of course. So we have our SOP and regulations. So all of our chefs must go through hygiene certification course, food handling course, typhoid jab, medical checkup. So that's like a must before you even start. And all of them have like 3 months of probation and onboarding, where we will be at the kitchen to make sure that they follow all our code of conduct, and we have like the Picha regulation to regulate all the kitchens. So we have constant spot checks, we have bi-weekly kitchen training. So all these are put into place because we want to ensure that our clients get the best quality of food. So, and of course it must be safe, it must be good, and we are catering to corporates, to weddings and all that. So all this has been put in place through a proper SOP, and that's how we run it. Yeah.
What's the next step? What is the long-term plan, your vision for Picha?
So the long-term plan and like the dream is that Picha continue to grow as a business that impact lives through different mediums. So right now, Picha Eats is through food delivery and catering. We have dreams to have Picha Bakery, Picha Ice Cream, or like Picha Cafe, or even Picha University in the future, Picha Training Center. So our dream is it's huge. But the main vision and goal is to impact lives and to change community through business. So it can be food business, content business, design business, cafe business, bakery business, and every business that starts through Picha should be able to impact different community, or the same community with different skill set. So we imagine having Picha Eat selling food cooked by refugee mothers. We can have Picha Bakery training youth at risk to do baking, and then we can have Picha Ice Cream to you know, like it's endless. Like the dream is like it's endless. Yeah.
Well, imagine like for a social enterprise, if you talk about challenges, one is probably scale, you know, the resources and funding to scale. What about Picha? What have been the barriers that you have had faced and had overcome, in fact?
I think one of the challenges to scale is actually, I would say, that we are facing now is hiring. So it took us a while to build ourselves as a brand where people would be like, oh, I want to work there. Because when we first started, the idea of social enterprise isn't very, very strong yet among like Malaysians. So people will get confused, is this a charity, is this a business? So it took us time to build this brand that you can come work with us and we can take care of you. It's not that you come here and do good and you will be poor, because that's a lot of like misconceptions. So we really strive to run as a business so that the team working with us are taken care of as well. They get salary, they are able to progress in their own life as well while they are progressing the life of the community. So this is the reason why we run as a business, so that we take care of not just the community but also the full-time team that works with Picha. We had this hiring issue because a lot of people might want to work with like big brands or cool startups, but and you should give us a try as well, because the whole experience is it's a very steep learning curve. You really get to experience how it feels like to like run a business that has an impact, and you get to look at the lives being changed. And if you are putting in so much effort in work and knowing that all this effort makes a change in the community, I think that's really it's a really great like motivation to go to work every single day. And right now we are very blessed. We have a team of 6 full-timers plus the 3 founders. So there's 9 of us in the team, and all of us, even though it gets tiring sometimes, but when we chat with everyone is very happy to go to work. Not just because it makes an impact, but because of the culture, because they love what they are doing. And I think that is really something that can limit our scalability if nobody gets to see this. So right now, our challenge is to hire more people who will build this dream together.
Of course, we know that in Malaysia, as a refugee, you are not allowed to work. So how do you see the difference that Picha can do in the bigger picture, not just giving them opportunity to cook?
Yes, of course. So currently the change that we see, of course, as you mentioned, the direct one, is that they are able to cover their basic expenses every month. They don't worry anymore whether they can pay rental next month or whether my kids can get to eat, because with Picha, it's a very we dedicate ourselves to make sure that they get to have enough every month. So that is the current impact. But in a bigger picture, as you mentioned, our dream is really to see policy change, not just in Malaysia, but regionally, to show the world that even though they are refugees, they have the skill set to contribute to the economy. They are refugees because we put the label on it. They are people who are accountants, engineers, and all that, and they can contribute. So why do we marginalize them and just see them as this community where, oh, they need help? Actually, if we open doors for them, they don't need our help. They can work hard and take care of themselves. So we are trying to show the government that they can contribute economically to Malaysia if Malaysia is open to explore. So we are paying income tax, we are paying SST. Maybe they can pay income tax as well. And we really want to have this movement to show that if we allow them to work, see in a way where it builds the country together, not stealing jobs from people. So I think we really want to use Picha to show people that it is possible to incorporate the community into our economy, and that's what we want to do in the bigger picture.
Just one final question. We see more young people wanting to create a difference. And for those wanting to start a social enterprise, right? What is your advice or roadmap that you would like them to know? Lessons learned, and what would you say to them?
I think one thing that we learn is really just take the step and do it. Because we have seen so many people who come and tell us, I want to do this, but will it work? But if you don't take that step to try it, you will never know. So when we first started, we really didn't know will it work, but we just did it to see whether it will work. So I think just do it. If you have that dream, go for it. Work very, very hard. And always remember that if your dream is to make a change, it can be through different ways. So don't get too tied up when one idea doesn't work, because that's just one path. You can go other path. And I think as a social entrepreneur, or actually as an entrepreneur, you will definitely face a lot of challenges. A lot of people will tell you, don't do it, it's too tough, go get a job. And the temptation, I would say, is there. Some days when I'm extremely tired, I would think, maybe I should have been working in an office where I don't have to carry so many things and stuff like that. Sometimes the thought is that it's normal human being, but to really push through that and to see that bigger vision that you are working towards, I think that's very important. And to have the right people around you, the advisors, the mentors who will give you that positive energy to keep you going is also very important. So I believe that, personally, I believe that we can't do it alone. You need that ecosystem to build this together with you. So if you really want to do it and you are alone, go get yourself into that ecosystem. There is a lot of ways. Go for events, go for trainings, go for classes, or just go on LinkedIn and ask, and build that connection through there. So yeah, so I think that would be what I would say. Just do it, build the right environment around you, and keep pushing on.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and
thank you.
Great stuff from Picha, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you.